Hello again guys, this is the third Sports Psychology screencast and we're going to be talking about the origin of attitudes. Next screencast we'll be talking about how we can change attitudes, but you need this information first to understand what attitudes are about before we start looking at the complexities of how to change attitudes and sort of moving towards a 20-mark question. Okay. So we need a definition of attitude. You're going to need that for your exams. So essentially it's what it is there. It's a mode of behaviour that's thought to be the typical response of an individual. The reason we are doing this straight after personality is because attitude links very nicely with personality, because if you have a poor attitude or a favourable attitude towards something, it will then influence the behaviour that your personality adopts. Many people are forgiven to thinking that attitudes can't be changed. Oh, they have a poor attitude to that and they're not going to change it, why bother? But attitudes are actually quite unstable, and as you'll see next week, we can, with a little bit of hard work, we can change attitudes that are formed. If you think about a practical situation, think back to your PE practical time from GCSE or even in early schoolhood. Essentially, individuals often have a poor attitude to PE or a very positive one, and that's mainly due to experience. For example, if you have a positive experience, it could be that the teacher was praising you a lot in the session. It could be that you were quite successful in a sport that you liked. It could be that you got a lot of individual attention, and so therefore you would have gone back to your PE lessons quite a lot. However, the dropout rate as of sort of 14 to 16 with regards to attitude is quite high, especially in girls. And a lot of that is to do with having a negative attitude towards PE. They might have felt that they lacked attention within a class. They might have felt that they didn't enjoy the sports that were being produced, and so therefore they end up spending more time with their peers, bunking lessons, etc., having formed this poor attitude. Other things we need to consider is what we call attitude objects. So an attitude is often directed towards what we call an attitude object, and an attitude object could be a place, a situation, or the behaviour of others. Other key term is prejudice, and prejudice is a predetermined view or opinion which may be biased. So you might go into thinking about something such as women playing rugby already with a bit of prejudice. You might automatically think, well, actually that's not right, because men play rugby, it's a tough physical sport, females shouldn't play it. Well, that's a prejudiced opinion because it's a biased viewpoint. I haven't actually seen women play rugby, but I'm basing my viewpoint on my thoughts of men playing rugby. Similarly, you could think about swimming. Unfortunately, there are not a lot of Afro-Caribbean swimmers that are world class, and so therefore many people have a prejudiced opinion that Afro-Caribbeans cannot swim or are very weak swimmers. The problem is that this situation just hasn't been successful in the past, and so therefore that prejudice appears. Well, how do we form these attitudes? Well, attitudes are formed by a process called socialisation, and they are further enhanced by this. And what we mean is that when we interact with others, this can modify your own personality as well as your behaviour and attitudes. So when we are around our peers, our socialisation process is helping form not just our personality type with social learning theory, but also our attitudes towards something. So if lots of our friends don't like sport and we hang around with them a lot, you may form an attitude not to get involved with sport. Similarly, your parents, if your parents are very keen on sport, you might form a positive attitude to sport with regards to that. Role models are really important. Michael Jordan, seen there, was a fantastic role model for basketball in the mid to late 80s, and also for the black ethnic community in America, and transformed basketball into more of an Afro-Caribbean sport from very much a white dominated sport. Role models in the media, such as Lady Gaga and Beyonce. Young girls often look up to role models in the media and form their own stereotypes of how women should look, in terms of weight, and that also links to PE and sports, because they might feel like doing exercise will help them reduce weight, or doing too much exercise may not be good for them in some manner. So again, it's forming an attitude. And other things in the media, such as watching television, playing video games, can help form negative or positive attitudes towards attitude objects. Okay, as per usual, if you make good notes, bring them to the lesson, and we will delve into this a little bit deeper through discussion.